couple of positions into turn one. By either going down the outside or trying to throw it around the outside. Because you can usually assume that two people are going to be going side by side, which is going to make them a bit slower. Because they're going to be trying to concentrate not to have any contact. And obviously pick up a steward's inquiry. It's the last thing you need. Especially at the beginning of a race. And you don't want to be spending all that time in qualifying to then basically be out on turn one. But here we go. We've got 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix. And it is underway here for Revolution. And the Williams of Lanzi having a lot of wheel spin off the start there, but maintains the lead of this race. SA sets him nicely behind, so does Goldbuck. And it looks like Goldbuck having the better exit, really trying to put the Mercedes driver under pressure. Mercedes of SA trying to put the Williams under pressure. They seem to be having a great start here, the Revolution drivers. No contact as of yet. There might be small amounts, but it's not caused anything big. But as we said that, we've got people bouncing off the wall there. We've got Goldbuck dropping positions. Rip moves up into P3. We've got a caution in Sector 1. Rip outside DRS range. Lanzi pulling away from SA24. So Lanzi could be in for what looks like a very easy evening with this opening lap. Already outside, broke away from SA24, but it is only lap 1. And SA has got plenty of time to get close to Lanzi and put them under pressure. As we move a bit back, Goldbuck has lost a position there. Rip is 1.3 seconds back from the back of SA already, so looks like we do have a bit of a mix in pace. Maybe the Rip and Goldbuck and the rest of these guys could potentially be on wheel. Lanzi with the fastest lap of the race. Now you can see McLaren pulling out in the background there. That'll be Rose Duck just trying to get some clean air over the car. There's Goldbuck struggling here. The Alpine of Sugar Blex. Is he going to go for the move? He's got the better exit than the Red Bull. The Red Bull been struggling through turns 1 and 2. And Goldblex gets the move done. And not Goldblex. Yeah, Sugar Blex gets the move done. Well, Goldbuck's dropping positions here. And now TXT right on the rear of the Red Bull driver. Can they take advantage of... there we go. The Red Bull driver having all sorts of issues here. Running wide there on the exit. Dirty tyres. He tried getting the power down. He's now side by side with the McLaren of Shush Football. Then Shush Football makes it through. And the Red Bull driver is dropping places dramatically here. Skinner right on the rear of the Red Bull driver. As Rose Duck and Kieran, they're battling out. Skull Killer, Rose Duck looking down the inside. Braking a little bit later. That's a bit of a corner cut there. Potentially a time penalty, not a time penalty, but a warning. But Skull Killer maintains the position as the McLaren overshot that corner. Managed to creep back through. As we get Lanzi now with the fastest lap of the race. A 128.148. Lanzi getting quicker and quicker out front. 2.2 seconds now the gap. That's what he gets for being an Ohio State fan. But yeah, really has spread out at the front. I mean, Rip in at P3. The VCAB team doing strong early on here. P3 and 5 for the VCAB team. Can they maintain it? But SA really struggling in these conditions. 1 point, I mean, he's caught back a bit of time there. Gained, well, he did have 2 tenths, but then Lanzi decides to take a 10th back off him. So, I don't know, it looks like it's definitely Lanzi's race to lose. 100%. Out at front, 2 second gap. Doesn't really have any worries. Just lost 2 tenths slow there. Come on, Lanzi. Don't let your fans down. Let's get it. A Shush looking to catch up. Caution in Sector 3. I think that's the McLaren of Roseduck. Having an issue there. And the V-Carbs are in, just trying to get some clean air across the cars here. TXT pulling out from behind the back of Sugarblex. And TXT has made the move on Sugarblex. Sugarblex must have made a mistake through turns 1 and 2. And now the V-Carb team in a very, very handy position here. If these two can work together, they could potentially pull one another along and try and have a battle for P2. Drying up in 5 minutes. I'm sure we've just heard contact there. Heard a bit of a knock. But says apparently we're getting dry conditions. And it does look like the rain is slowing. Not seeing much rainfall now. There is, but it's not a lot. Just see drops, but we are potentially going to dry conditions. Is that where SA will kind of come back? TXT showing some good pace in behind his teammate. Rip up in that P3. Are we going to see kind of like team orders being played here? One of these drivers, TXT. This is where Rip having a bad exit there. This is TXT needs in front of Rip. Looks like he's got the stronger pace out of the pair of them, and he's going to need that pit stop first, because one of them's going to lose out here under the pits. But thanks for the update, Will. Very, very much appreciated. Always good to have that little bit more knowledge, especially when it comes to comms. But I do think the rain could potentially have stopped. See, I can't see any now, but it'll get to a different camera angle and we'll see some. Like that one there was a few drips hitting the circuit. That could just be off the actual camera or a tree nearby. I don't think the settings are that advanced though. Can we see tyres on leaderboard? Of course you can. If you ever want to see anything like that, don't be afraid to ask. You need it, I'll show it as wow. We've already got Mep, GoBucks and Madman all on dry compound of tyres already here. The track does look dry. Hope that was long enough for you, Will. And I think it is dry because we've got the teams getting into the pit. Lanzi, SA, all into the pit lane. All looking for the dry tyres. No mistakes from the pits. We've got some drivers giving it another lap here. Oh no, we haven't. Hang on. Skinner is on hard compounded tyres. He pitted. Skinner's took the lead. Go on, Skinner. Oh no, Skinner. They look white. I do apologise, people. They are intermediate tyres. I do apologise. So let's have a look at Lanzi and SA. They've come out behind Rocket. Rocket is on the inters. Let's see if Lanzi can really close up to the back of Rocket here. And yeah, the tyres. It's definitely dry conditions here now. GoBucks with a 3-second time penalty. That's going to be very, very unfortunate. Yeah, you're welcome, Will. No worries. We'll have another look at the tyres after this one. See what kind of, see what the split is. See who's chose the hards over the mediums and vice versa. We'll let I think the pit stop phase, we've still got these front runners staying out that will pit on this lap. Bit of lag there. But I tell you what, Lanzi has had a cracking out lap. 2.2 second lead to SA as everybody pitting now that was in the lead of that race. Lanzi has a 2-second lead. What is TXT looking? He's got a second gap to close down to SA. Mep, Madman now picking up the fastest lap of the race. You'll see these fastest laps coming in thick and fast now that we see drivers on the slick tyres. That is the dry compound of the tyres here this evening. So, everybody out the pits, let's have a look at the tyres. So, it's pretty much a mixed bag. There is hard compound drivers. We've got TXT, Rip, Sugar Blex, Skinner, Go Bucks, Shush, Rose Duck, and Kiss. Everybody else on the medium compound tyres. I think the mediums will have to pit again at the end, before the end of this race. But let's have a look at the battles. We've got Mep trying to get within DRS range of this battle for P5 between Rip and Sugar Blex. Mep just struggling though, can't seem to get within that range he needs to get the DRS, which is under a second. As Lanzi there, a 121.963, great lap from Lanzi. As we've got a good battle here for P9, it goes all the way to P14. They're all within DRS range. You'll see them take it easy. They need to take it easy on these opening laps. No point trying to push the tyres, then suffer at the end of the stint. Just break them in nice and easy. Try not to affect the tyre wear too much on the lap. Then at the end of it, try and push. But as I say, I think the mediums will need to pit again. I don't think they can go to the end. I think that's going to be definitely another pit stop. Maybe a medium from the medium runners. As Mep does get a 3-second time penalty now. Skull Killer all the way at the back, down in P19. I'm guessing it was a new wing for Skull Killer that's cost him, and is quite a substantial distance back from the pack. We've got Skinner, and there's been contact there. Skinner, and who's that dropping? Mep having a bit of a coming together there, and Skinner was on the inside. No, he's on the outside of that car. I'm not going to pass judgment of what happened there. I don't even know. 121.211 as TXT, a 120.728. TXT putting pedal to the metal here. Putting the laps together. He is chasing down SA24. And last time we checked, Shush now with a 120.292. So a great lap from Shush there. But TXT is on the charge here. He is catching SA24. 1.3 seconds is the gap. Has another good lap here. We could easily see TXT within DRS range. George in at P4 with a Haas. This is a good position for George. Rip 4 seconds back from George. So George in a very comfortable position. Doesn't really have to worry about Rip. Rip 4 seconds back from him. But TXT just needs a couple of good laps here. Maybe just one good lap and a bit of a mistake from SA24. And we could see a good old battle for P2. Getting underway. Shush with a 3-second time penalty. I think that's his second one here this evening. So that's going to affect his overall position in this race come the end of it. I've lost my fucking lighter. I just nearly knocked over my drink. That would have been fun. So TXT is actually within DRS range. Kieran now a 119.675. And then immediately picking up a 3-second time penalty there. But TXT is getting very close to the back of that Mercedes. The Mercedes is going to be feeling pressure in the next DRS zone. Looks like the medium tyres are very worthless. The hards really seem to have come to life on this V-carb. Don't know whether it's just TXT's pace, but he's doing absolutely brilliantly here. Lanzi seems to... 3-second gap for Lanzi. What a drive so far from the Williams driver. Doing absolutely brilliantly here. I think SA24 knows this is a slam dunk position loss here. Because look at how close TXT is. Going through that final corner. It will have the DRS going down the straight. Possibly use some ERS. Going for the overtake here. Pulls out the slipstream. The Mercedes driver is going to fight it back. The side-by-side through turns 1 and 2. But TXT with the better exit around the outside there takes the position away from the Mercedes driver. They do lose some time in that squabble. Going side-by-side through turn 1. Cost them 0.8 of a second to Lanzit, who is absolutely smashing it out of the front. But now, can TXT show the pace that he's had in catching SA24 and now get onto the back of Lanzit and really bring this race into life and let us have a battle unfold for that P1 position? Lanzit, it's down to you, mate. We'll check back in with Lanzit, not Lanzit, TXT, who has been passed by SA24. They need to work together, but they're just ruining themselves going side by side. Another 0.4 of, well, I think that was 0.6 of a second lost, as we've got the Aston Martin team. They're tripping over one another in the background, costing one another time in the pursuit of trying to get that P7 away from Skinner. They will gain a place, I think, due to Sugarplex, but Kieran really needs to help his teammate out here. He does have a penalty, but he needs to kind of push on, get past Skinner. They need to work their way up the points ladder here. Hazard has got Madman trying to chase him down. Still, what, 17 laps of racing to go here in this one. We had rain at the start of the race. It's now moved to dry conditions. And Lanzit has looked very comfortable in both conditions. Pulled a gap in the wet conditions. Then he's just, the gap's got bigger and bigger since we moved to the dry conditions. Added a further 2.5 seconds to the gap as Lanzit, and one hell of a drive he's got so far. Absolutely brilliant. We've got Rose Duck and Rocket also in a bit of a scrap for that P14, but Rocket will lose it. Kiz as well in the kick Sauber, having a look at the back of Rocket. Good exit through the quick left-right, but just has to settle in. Cannot go for the overtake there. As, hang on. What's happened to TXT? The pace. He's had... Oh no, he's got wing damage. TXT, the V-carb driver, was showing absolutely brilliant pace here this evening. Don't know whether it's due to him and SA having a moment, but that is clear damage on the V-carb. Front right end plate missing. And that is going to be affecting the aerodynamics of that car. It's going to feel so unsettled. You can see the pace loss it's giving. How hard he's having to defend here from Zorro. But he's just had to take that off route there. This is such a kick to the groin for the V-carb driver. Has absolutely done brilliantly. And it all comes to an end in one moment. And now it's going to be a pit stop. And an extra 5 seconds on top of that pit stop for the wing. Oh, TXT. Unlucky, sir. We've also got Rose Duck losing positions there. Gets past due to the DRS. Lanzi now 5.2 second lead to SA24. And I'm sure there'll be another pit stop coming from this driver, but it's been a stellar drive from him so far. Let's watch Skinner and Sugarblex, and then we'll have a look at Zorro, Goldbucks and Shush. They're all in a battle for P8. Zorro will maintain it though with the penalties that Shush and Goldbucks have got. Madman could potentially sneak a position due to the penalties up at a bit further up the field as well. But it's good to see top 5 without a time penalty here. Skinner trying to close up as we get Rip getting past George. And we have a V-Carb once again back on the podium on lap 14. Can he stay in front of that Haas driver? But the gaps are getting pretty even up at the front. SA is just hasn't had the race pace for Lanzi. Lanzi looks like he may have to go up a tier as well as SA, I would say. These two drivers very, very quick here in this race this evening. Lanzi's just absolutely smashing it out of the front. 5-second gap on lap 15. I mean, what kind of gap are we going to be looking at the end of this one? As Shush Football FC picking up another 3-second time penalty. That's going to be a pretty decent penalty there, as we now see Zorro and Madman into the pit lane, going for another stop here. And I would like to think potentially another set of mediums till the end, or the hards. George keeping with Rip though. Haas driver not letting that V-Carb get away from him. Maintaining DRS here. And that's keeping Skinner and Sugarblex at bay, really. And Kieran. Kieran's right there. This could get interesting if Rip and George slow down that little bit and Skinner manages to get him DRS range. Brings another couple of drivers into that fight for P3. And I'm sure Skinner is definitely going to be wanting to get involved for that P3 with not having any time penalties. I mean, Rip and George don't have them. Sugarblex and Kieran and Shush and Goldbuck, Kiz, Rocket, Mep and Hazard all have penalties here. But Skinner could potentially be fighting for a podium here with George and Rip, as he is now actually within DRS range. So he's brought two drivers with him. TXT with the fastest lap of the race on 119.359. TXT all the way down in P16 after a moment on the lap. We weren't on board with it. We didn't see it. All we seen was the lad dropping positions. And when we got on board with him, wing damage on his car that just cost him position after position after position. Did go into the pits in P11, so we'll see what, if he can make any moves, try and get a bit of a higher position than what he's got already, as we've got a caution in sector 3. That caution removed very, very quickly. The caution in sector 1, as I think that's a Ferrari of Skull Killers, had a moment on the exit of turn 5, as SA's decided to jump in the pits, knows that his mediums won't make the end, and it's onto the hard compounder tyres for SA. I think Lanzi will cut that off. He should shut that down, get into the pits, get on a fresh set of tyres, as Rip now moves up into P2. Let's have a look at this battle a bit further back. We've got Madman P14. He's being put under pressure by the V-Carb driver of TXT. There's been damage there. There was a bit of damage coming off one of the cars. May have just been off the actual track itself. And there's more contact. And it's Mep trying to make moves on the Red Bull driver. But the Red Bull driver just managing to keep that position. On the Mercedes of Hazard really watching on as we get, that's a straight line. Wow. And that is a safety car. I do not know what happened to Mep then, but that looked like he just put his pad down or just took his hands off the wheel and just went straight forward. I don't quite know what happened there, but that just looked like a complete loss Is SA actually going to get out in front here? Is he going to take the lead of this race away from Lanzi? Is Lanzi's coming out of the pits now? Yeah, Lanzi maintains that P1. Has Rip managed to get SA out the pits? He has. SA losing a position to Rip there. Rip gets the P2. So, safety car. A very, very odd safety car, I would say. From what we've seen. As we get Will has just clipped that, I think. For future preference. Maybe hand that in. I don't know, but that was a very odd one. That's either his pads died, wheels died, or it's something very unsportsmanlike where he's just thought, fuck this, and just sent it into the wall. But yeah, safety car conditions. Now we'll have probably this lap and another Skull Killer has got to catch up to the pack here before the safety car will let the race go back underway. So Bad into the pits for a fresh set of rubber. Till the end of this one. I think we'll have like 9 laps of racing. So let's have a quick look at the biggest gainers while we're here. Position changes. So Skinner up 8. So Skinner doing well here. P4 for the Kick Sauber team. George is up 5. SA down 1. Zorro's up 6. So good for Zorro there. Rocket's up 6. Rose Duck's up 6. TXT down 9. I mean, one driver you've kind of got a feel for here this evening. TXT was having a really, really good race. Caught up to SA. Looked like he was on a charge to chase down Lanzi, but something happened and we've seen damage on the V-carb, and he's now down in P14. Let's have a look at tyres quickly. So majority on mediums, just SA, George and Zorro on the hard compounder tyres. Think we may have safety car. No, safety car still out. We'll have another lap under safety car as the Haas and the Ferrari still not called to the pack. But everybody, well, we've got a couple of, well, we've had a 4 stop from Car, 3 stop from Skull Killer. But the majority, 2 stoppers here this evening. I think it would have been regardless of the safety car for a lot of the drivers. So yeah, this will be the final lap under the safety car. You see the drivers warming up them tyres, trying to get them in that range for a good race restart here. And it's all about one man at the minute. He's been dominant throughout. Lanzi, the Williams driver up at the front. Can he get a good restart? As Rip got the pace to stay with him. Is he going to read it well? Can SA on this final stint find the pace to chase down Lanzi? Making the way into Sector 3 now. Safety car in this lap, so this way we'll see Lanzi slowing down the pack, taking control, doesn't want to stay too close to the back of the safety car. You see him slow down as the safety car is moving away there. And now Lanzi backing up that pack. You have to let that safety car get in the pit lane. Though it really does screw you over. So there we see it. Safety car peeling off into the pit lane. Rip staying very close to the back of that Williams. As he's seen maybe Lanzi just trying to have a little go there. But Rip is staying very close. And this is going to be a hectic turn 1. As Lanzi there gets... just breaks a little bit, catches Rip sleeping a little bit there, which allows him the breathing space to not come under any pressure into turn 1. Now Rip is going to look to put the pressure as Roseduck gets a 3-second time penalty. Have we got any side-by-side action? We've got Zorro having a little look on his teammate. Shush Football trying to have a look at the Aston Martin driver as well. I tell you what, there's been some great racing here this evening. Great starts. Usually see some carnage in turn 1 as SA has just not got the race pace here. Hasn't really been able to stick with the front runners. But Rip doing a really well of staying within touching distance of Lanzi. This is going to be a different kind of race now for Lanzi. Hasn't felt any pressure through the first lot of laps right up until now, and now he's got Rip putting him under pressure as TXT gets a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, SA really struggling. Don't know whether it is setup related for SA24 here, but Rip and Lanzi really being able to just pull away from the Mercedes driver. As Rip now gets the fastest lap, it's a 1:19.250. And Rip in DRS range here of Lanzi. Now, can Lanzi defend? He's got 7 laps to defend this position. Rip just has to stay composed. If you Rip right now, you're trying to stay behind Lanzi until the final lap. Save that ERS as Skinner is now up into that podium place. He's passed. Has the time spent behind SA really cost Skinner here? Could he have potentially been behind Rip? We'll never know, but Skinner's going to try his hardest to defend as George is having a look. The Haas driver putting pressure on the Kick Sauber driver, but just needs a good exit here. Power's going to be down. DRS active. And Skinner just letting George through. The SA is absolutely defending with his life here, trying to hold on to P5. You've got Sugar Blex trying to put him under pressure. There's contact between Sugar and TDR Kieran. So contact zone, you can see Rip, he's getting very close to the back of Lanzi up at the front. All these drivers that are really close. Skullkiller's going to gain some positions here. Skullkiller just needs to stay where he is. And Skullkiller's looking at a P10 here. Maybe even a little bit better. With all these people picking up penalties, Skullkiller keeping it clean. Zorro definitely going to move up to P6. Roseduck retiring from the session there in the pit lane. Had enough of this one here this evening. But we're on lap 23. We've had a safety car. I don't want to rock the boat being a new commentator here, but that was a very questionable safety car. Just how it looked commentary wise as we Shush Football putting loads of pressure on Zorro here. Zorro defending that inside line. Shush trying to go all the way around the outside. There's a bit of contact and banging together. But Shush gets the move done. And takes it away from Zorro there. Shush moving up into P9. Bit of argy-bargy to get the position, but still the McLaren driver moving forward. We've got TXT in behind Zorro now, looking to make the move. TXT pulling out the slipstream. Is he going to try going side by side into turn one? No, thinks better of it. Backs out of the potential side by side moment there. Looking for the inside. Zorro always defending that inside line into corners, making the drivers go all the way around the outside to try and get past him. Some good defense there. Let's move back up to the top as SA now finding a bit of pace. Can he potentially steal the podium back here? Can he get into that bit of a scrap with Skinner and George? Rip still doing a brilliant job. He's staying within DRS range up at the front. Let's have a look what Nicky's saying in the chat. Clearly, he's suffered a loss of hydraulics that caused a brake failure when he crashed into a wall at full speed. If you want to put it like that, then we'll put it like that, Nick. As I said, it could. There's numerous scenarios that could have happened there for Mep, but it looked like he just gave up. It could be pad dying, wheel dying, anything. So you know, but until you know it, until you know the actual things, it does look very suspicious. So this battle for P3 still going on. They've all stayed pretty close. On this safety car restart, they've stayed really, really close. DRS train, very healthy here. Got Sugar Blex just struggling, just nipped out of DRS range there to SA. SA now putting the pedal to the metal, trying to get away from Sugar Blex. Doesn't want to lose any positions. It could be the tyres as well. The hard compounder tyres have seemed to be a very, very quick race tyre here as we get SA off massively in the background. And that's going to be loads of positions dropped. SA has had such a good race all race long. Yes, he's lost positions, but he's been in a fight for a potential podium. And now he's with his teammate down in P13 and 14. And what a day this has turned into for Mercedes here. Gone from a potential podium for one of the drivers to probably I don't know if they get points for P13 and 14 here. But hopefully Rip has been putting Lanzi under pressure, getting him to use that ERS out at front, so he'll have the advantage on that final lap. It's just Skinner and George now battling it out for that P2. Who's going to come out on top on this little battle? And then you've just got a handful of drivers trying to compete. Lanzi's picked up a time penalty. Lanzi has lost the lead of the race here. I don't know whether... I mean, Lanzi's... It's got to be his own mistakes. He's been out in the lead of the race. He's had nobody really trying to push him off track. So this 3-second time penalty actually could be genuine here through Lanzi's mistakes. And it's been an absolutely brilliant race from Lanzi. But it all comes unfolded on lap 26 for Lanzi. And I think his teammate has kind of screwed him over here, getting Rip. That it might be a different pressure. Lanzi feeling that pressure from Rip, which could have caused these, you know, warnings to be picked up. So that whole different feel of racing for Lanzi really could have upset his flow here this evening. And I tell you what, Rip's had a fucking brilliant race. VCAB team, I mean, at least one of them, one of the VCABs, either one of the VCAB team, I think, could potentially have won it. TXT, we don't know what's happened to him. Stroll fan saying, hello, I'm back. Nice to see you back. Give you a bit of an update. We've had a safety car here this evening. We had rain at the beginning of the race where Lanzi led for majority of the races. Lanzi is still leading now. But a 3-second time penalty and a safety car brought Rip back into it. Rip had a great kind of in-lap to the safety car, managed to gain a position because SA was the driver in P2. SA's had a big moment, cost him heavily. He's out on the sauce now looking for the fastest lap of the race. But Lanzi has played a blinder all race. The Williams driver, I think, deserves driver of the day in my book for the... Well, no, it would have been driver of the day, I should say. But Rip has done brilliantly. The consistency to not get a penalty, to be where they are right now. I mean, Skinner, if Skinner can close up to Rip, really drain that ERS on the lap, Skinner could potentially take away a P2 from Lanzi. As Lanzi, big mistake, and Lanzi sees Rip going past. The first time he's been overtaken here this evening, and it's on lap 28. And now Skinner could potentially be... Let's have a look at the penalty. We need to look at the penalties. Penalties. Yep. But Skinner running wide on the exit there. He knows that a potential P2 is on the cards, but George could take it away from him. George is within that range. He could potentially take away that P2. Lanzi could see himself off the podium here and we're moving into the final lap. This has turned into absolute chaos. Lanzi has played a blinder all race. One error has potentially cost him a podium chance in the first race of the season here this evening. Can he hold on to it? We've got one lap to find out. TXT finds himself up in P7. The VCAB team gonna pick up the healthiest amount of points. George has gone up into P3 past Skinner. I think Skinner may have had a moment. As George now 100% looking at a P2 here this evening. George, another driver that's played an absolute blinder, just kept consistent, stayed out of the battles, looked to pick up places where he can. As Shush Football leaving the session there. Robbed by a bozo straight lining into a wall. I'm not going to say, I think that's what it was. But as Rip's picked up a penalty, Lanzi's got back past. This is all just mental. This is going to be George's win here. George is going to get the win on track. But Lanzi, the Williams driver, has played a blinder all race long. I think we can all say that he deserved the race win here this evening, but the penalties have bit him in the end and have cost him heavily. He does get the race win over the line, but George in the Haas is going to be your race winner here this evening for the season opener at Revolution. And George, massive congratulations, brother. What a race. What a race here this evening. It all kind of unfolded in them final laps. Exactly, Will. Absolute scenes here at Australia. And the Haas team, they were dominant last season. They took the Constructors' Championship, as we've got another follower here this evening. Thank you so much, Chief, for the follow. But that was one hell of a race. All unfolded at the end. Picking up those penalties really cost Lanzi and Rip massively. But there he is, the Haas driver, picking up the trophy here this evening, picking up the win. And I tell you what, for the first outing here at Revolution, it was a very, very good outing. So George with the race win, the fastest lap from Rip. SA didn't manage to get it, and he even went on the softs. That's unfortunate. We get Rocket with driver of the day. I think personally, there's only one driver of the day here this evening, and it's got to go to the race winner. That's George. Absolutely brilliant drive. It could have gone to either Rip or Lanzi, but them time penalties really cost him in the end. Hazard with the most overtakes, and SA was your cleanest driver here this evening. So yeah, I mean, absolutely brilliant.